In the play King Lear by William Shakespeare, Lear decides to split his kingdom into equal parts and give his 3 daughters, Cordelia, Regan, and Goneril, power in return for their praise. When Cordelia fails to give the praise her father desires, she is banned from acquiring any of his rule. With the other 2 obtaining full reign, Lear is progressively chased out of his realm of power. Meanwhile, the Earl of Gloucester's illegitimate son, Edmund, schemes a plot against his father to gain what he believes is his rightful property as the eldest son. Further in the story, the 2 plots intertwine to create a world full of chaos and betrayal. This coalition introduces the theme that having the ability to see can actually shield us from seeing the truth, and also the theme of ethos. Near the end of the play, Gloucester is blinded by Cornwall for his traitorous letters. It is then when Regan reveals that Edmund was in fact the real traitor and not Edgar, who he had been convinced to believe. Gloucester, now blind, is confronted by his tenant, asking if he needs assistance. When Gloucester rejects his offer, the tenant states, "Alack, sir, you cannot see your way," for which Gloucester replies, "I have no way, and therefore want no eyes. I stumbled when I saw, full oft is seen, our means secure us, and our mere defects prove our commodities." Gloucester is saying that his eyesight caused him to make mistakes, and how it is often true that not having something can actually prove to be advantageous. This shows the central theme that Gloucester having his eyesight actually blinded him from the truth. The best example of the ethos theme is the characterization of Goneril and Regan as animals. For example, Lear compares Regan to a vulture in Act 2, Scene 4, when he says, "Beloved Regan, thy sister is not. O Regan, she hath tied sharp-toothed unkindness like a vulture." Vultures are often associated with preying on the weak and dead. Similarly, after the sisters obtain their share of land, their harsh treatment towards Lear disgusts the Duke of Albany. Albany proclaims, "Filths save ye but themselves. What have you done? Tigers not daughters, what have you performed?" The characterization of Goneril and Regan as tigers compares them to vicious and sly beings who are capable of betraying their father. Lear, weak and vulnerable, is the prey of his 2 tiger-like daughters, similar to vultures preying on the dead. This ties in with the central theme of ethos, because King Lear is now seeing the true, projected selves of his untamable daughters. One of the main warnings given to the audience is the effects of excessive pride or hubris. The warning is introduced in the beginning of the play, when King Lear gives a love test to his daughters to determine the daughters' loyalty. Regan and Goneril feed his desire with ingratiating compliments, but his youngest daughter, Cordelia, falls short when she gives her father the truth instead of the expected praise. Cordelia becomes a stranger to Lear's heart. Lear's hubris causes him to ban his once favorite daughter from his kingdom and give all of his land and rule to his 2 eldest daughters, whose lies he could not detect through his shield of vanity. When Lear gives all of his power away, he is surprised to find that he is no longer treated as royalty. Having previously been king, he believes he should continue being treated as one, even after stepping down from the throne. This is evidently shown when Goneril refuses to house him and his knights. Not being able to believe that he is being treated this way, he says, "Does any here know me? Why, this is not Lear. Doth Lear walk thus? Speak thus? Where are his eyes? Either his notion weakens, or his discernings are lagarthied. Ha! Sleeping or waking? Sure, 'tis not so. Who is it that can tell me who I am?" This shows that he is unable to believe that his daughter, who was once showering him with praise, is treating him as if he is lesser than her. He exclaims, "Darkness and devils, saddle my horses, call my train together. Degenerate bastard, I'll not trouble thee, yet I have left a daughter." Showing that when he hears something that does not soothe his hubris, he will disown Goneril as his daughter, like Cordelia. When faced with the same treatment from Regan, the shattering of his pride drives to his insanity. The final warning of hubris is finally made at the end of the play with the death of Cordelia. When King Lear finally realizes that Cordelia was his most trustworthy daughter and his hubris is depleted, she is hanged. This ending was not well received by audiences, and for about 70 years after this play was written, a new version called The History of King Lear by Nahum Tate paved its way to the spotlight. In this version, King Lear regains his throne and Cordelia lives. It was only until 1838 that Shakespeare's original would come to stay. This shows how difficult the ending of the play was for the audience, and we can understand why. Cordelia was the innocent one. She is the only daughter who was true to her word and fought with her father until the end. Having an innocent character die at the hands of antagonists is disheartening and frustrating for the audience to watch. Another warning the play presents to its audience is the consequence of having a rigid mindset. In the beginning of the play, Gloucester's illegitimate son Edmund plots against Gloucester. Edmund does this by convincing him that his legitimate son, Edgar, plans to betray him. Instead of confirming the accusation against Edgar, Gloucester believes Edmund and only uses the letter as evidence. As a result from Gloucester's absolute mindset, Edgar is forced to hide his identity under his alias, Poor Tom. And similar to Lear, Gloucester loses the son that truly cares about him. But the most dire consequence of the Earl's rigid mindset is him losing his eyes.